open it up for a few questions.
Great. It's good to see all of you. All right, well, good morning, and thanks so much for being here today. I just wanted to start with this. There's absolutely no place in Wisconsin classrooms for anyone who harms a child or puts a child's safety at risk. My promise to every parent, every guardian, and every family in our state is that we will always act swiftly and decisively to protect kids. At the Department of Public Instruction, we take every allegation of misconduct seriously. We review every case carefully, using the information and tools available to get the facts. Every investigation is conducted thoroughly. And when evidence shows misconduct, we act to ensure that individual is removed from the classroom. Student safety is not political. It is a moral responsibility that we all share. As both your state superintendent and as a mom, that responsibility guides everything I do. Protecting kids is not just part of my job, it's who I am. And so for nearly 3 decades, I've dedicated my career to standing up for kids, whether that meant fighting for safe classrooms, better resources for teachers, or stronger support for families. And that work has always been about one thing: doing what's right for students. And that's why in recent weeks it's been deeply disappointing to see attempts to turn this serious issue into yet another partisan political sideshow. Our kids deserve better than that. Wisconsin families deserve better than that. But we won't be distracted or deterred, and our focus remains exactly where it belongs, on protecting kids, and not playing politics. Under my leadership, the Department of Public Instruction has worked tirelessly to keep bad actors out of classrooms. Our process is strong, and our commitment to transparency is unwavering. But that doesn't mean standing still. We are always looking for ways to do better and to make our system stronger, because protecting kids means always learning and always improving. And that commitment shows up in how we approach the work every day. And I want to be very clear. It is our responsibility to do these investigations. It's in state law, and we take that responsibility seriously. Every case is reviewed carefully. Every investigation is conducted using every tool available to us. And we follow state law every step of the way. License revocations are published on our public website. Investigative materials are public records. Our work is open and accountable. Nothing is hidden. We take every allegation of misconduct seriously and act whenever it occurs. And there's no acceptable instance of behavior that compromises the safety or trust of students. At the same time, it's important to recognize that such cases are rare and do not reflect the values or actions of the vast majority of Wisconsin educators. Every day, tens of thousands of educators across Wisconsin serve their students with professionalism, compassion, and integrity, often going above and beyond to make a difference in their students' lives. And those educators deserve our gratitude and systems that both protect students and their profession. And that is why it is so important to stay focused on the facts and on the work, even when the conversations around us get loud. So let's get back to some basic facts. The department does not cover up misconduct. We do not shield information from the public. We do not ignore allegations. We do everything in our power to remove those who harm children from classrooms, and we do it urgently and decisively. Unfortunately, some have chosen to use this deeply sensitive issue to score political points, and that doesn't protect children, it distracts from real solutions. I'm interested in protecting Wisconsin's children, all of them. That includes children in public, private, and charter schools alike. And our focus should be on solutions, because parents, guardians, and families deserve action and not finger-pointing or political theater. So today, I'm announcing a set of common-sense, nonpartisan steps that will strengthen student safety, support educators, and build the trust families deserve. First, we need to bolster existing laws. Law enforcement leaders made a critical point a few weeks ago. Grooming and predatory behaviors are not just school issues. They are societal issues. They happen in every corner of our communities. And that's why we need to do more as a state to prevent, identify, and address these behaviors wherever they occur. At the Department of Public Instruction, we already pursue licensing revocations for grooming and boundary crossing. But without stronger laws and clearer definitions, the referrals we receive can be inconsistent. Wisconsin urgently needs to clarify grooming and define it as a crime so that law enforcement can act swiftly and consistently no matter where it happens. We can and we must fix this together. Second, we are expanding transparency. The DPI already maintains a searchable public database showing the license status of every educator in Wisconsin, and the investigative materials are already public record. And we're taking this further by launching a new online resource that lists all the revoked and surrendered licenses available to any member of the public. To be clear, that information is already available, but we are putting it into another database so that it's just by itself. And we've heard feedback in this area about ways to make this information clearer and more useful, and we're exploring ways to include information about why a license was revoked or surrendered. Third, we need to close the private school loophole. Right now, private school educators are not required to hold a DPI license, and unlicensed staff fall outside of our investigative authority. That means when misconduct happens, the DPI may never learn about it. So all school types, public, private, and charter, should be required to report to the DPI when any of their staff engage in anything that could be considered immoral conduct. No exceptions. This is a dangerous loophole that needs to be closed. Fourth, we need to strengthen our investigations. Today, the DPI lacks subpoena power during investigations, meaning we rely on voluntary cooperation of witnesses, district officials, and others to gather critical information. Even limited authority would allow us to gather evidence more efficiently and to act faster to protect kids. And fifth, we need to establish clear expectations statewide. The department has been working for over a year to develop a statewide code of conduct, which will soon be published for public comment through administrative rules. A code of conduct will bring consistency across educator preparation programs and serve as a guide for school boards developing policies around professional boundaries and misconduct. Every school board should be required to adopt a strong educator boundary policy and ensure every educator completes mandatory training on grooming and boundary violations. Sixth, we need to modernize our licensing system. The department needs resources to improve its licensing system. A modernized platform will make information more transparent, easier to access, and faster to process. And finally, we need to stop the skim on teacher licensing fees. Right now, 10% of every licensing dollar is diverted away from the department. That money should be used to strengthen investigations, to improve systems, and to serve the teaching profession, and not siphoned off elsewhere. These are practical, achievable steps we can take together. They strengthen student safety, support educators, and further the trust that families deserve. At the end of the day, this is about one thing: keeping kids safe. Student safety is not political. Every allegation is taken seriously, every case is reviewed thoroughly, and every child in Wisconsin deserves to walk into a school feeling safe, supported, and protected by adults they can trust. That is my commitment as state superintendent, as a mother, as a lifelong educator, and it's the commitment of the Department of Public Instruction. It guides every decision I make and every decision we make as a department. Thank you. And with that, I will take some questions.
Dr. Matt, go ahead first.
Dr. Underly, with everything you just laid out, is this an acknowledgement that you and the state have not been as transparent as you should be when it comes to investigations like this?
I want us to be very clear. We are very transparent. We are transparent. All the information is publicly available. We do follow due process, And at the end of the day, if there is a reason to revoke a license, we revoke it, and then that information is made public. But there's always room for improvement, and so these are areas that we can improve that.
There were calls for you to resign over this matter. What are your response to that?
It's preposterous, to be honest, because investigations are our job. I believe the thing was like, DPI did 200 investigations and kept them from the public. Well, we do investigations. That is our job. At the end of the day, not every investigation is credible. Sometimes allegations are false, but we follow due process, and just to be very clear, we hide nothing. And the agency investigates. We do a great job at it, and we are working every day to make sure kids are safe in their school. It's a high priority for us.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Dr. Underly, in 2017, under the Evers administration, he introduced the rulemaking process, the definition of boundary violations, as well as grooming, and also added a stipulation to PI 34 that would have published why an educator lost their license. Now, that didn't make it into the final rulemaking, and obviously isn't in PI 34 now. Why hasn't your department reintroduced those types of provisions if there are current barriers to the way that you do license investigations?
That's a great question. I can't really speak to the things that happened in the agency before I was here. And as well as, what the legislature has decided to take up as, potential state statutes. So, we're open to, learned yesterday that there has been a bill introduced to talk about defining grooming more clearly. And I welcome those conversations. I also am looking forward to, working with law enforcement to make sure that it is something that can help make our work more transparent and clear too. At the end of the day, student safety shouldn't be political. It's something we take very seriously. And the other piece of this that I would say is that grooming doesn't happen just in schools. It's a societal issue. And so if there's a way to strengthen this statute and definition of grooming, I'm all about it, because we need to make sure kids are safe no matter where they are.
Quick
All right,
follow-up,
you
if
got
I
time for
may,
two
I
more.
wanted to clarify. I was talking about the rulemaking process specifically.
Oh.
We're referring to state statute. So why hasn't your department introduced through the rulemaking process to strengthen the definition and things like that through specifically the rulemaking process of PI 34?
Yeah, so, we have been devoting resources towards this. We have been asking for additional resources so that we can conduct these investigations faster. But it would be great if we had subpoena power, and that is something that we've asked for.
Time for
Dr.
one more.
Underly,
Go ahead,
Dr. Underly,
Vanessa.
will you be addressing
Please.
the Senate Committee on Education this afternoon?
Yes, I am looking forward to being there and talking about these issues, and I will also be at the audit committee tomorrow.
Vanessa, one more.
Have you been in contact with lawmakers since this came out?
My agency has been. We just got it yesterday afternoon. So I've been able to, just give it a cursory glance, but I look forward to talking about it.
Have you talked to the governor since the Cap Times report or the legislative hearings about this?
No, our offices are always in contact,
And you specifically haven't spoken with the governor?
which is not unusual. So.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right.
Thank you.